Okay, welcome back. Behind the Gate, Greensboro-based podcast. Y'all know me, Andrew. We are here at Grandover today with a gentleman named Kelly. We're going to hear much more about him. Kelly, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Andrew.
Super appreciative. We're going to talk about some cool stuff. Hosting Norway World Cup just happened here at Grandover. Hear a little bit about Kelly and his story. Koury Corporation, Wyndham Championship, Sedgefield's right around the corner here. And just kind of where he thinks Greensboro's headed and any other tourism stuff that we can chat about. But super, super, super excited. Kelly, let's get right into it, man. World Cup, Norway.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Wow. What an unbelievable experience it was. It came about starting about 3 years ago when we hosted Palmeiras, Brazil. Interestingly, they play each other in this World Cup, which we couldn't have ever thought about. But the Cup with Brazil here was a precursor a little bit to being able to have the ability to host a World Cup team. We had Palmeiras here. They were here last year for almost a month. Stayed with us almost the same length of time that Norway was here. And the way that FIFA does this is they rank different lodging opportunities, and really it's kind of a trial ground for them to see how it's going to play out for World Cup. They use it kind of as a staging ground. And fortunately for us, we did a really good job with Palmeiras, and we got the opportunity to put a bid in for Norway. And FIFA, again, ranks it, and then they take a lot of information in from the team. What the team wanted, specifically Norway, was nature. They did not want a downtown hotel location. They knew that just part of their culture was so much involved with the outdoors and how much they enjoyed free space that they knew that if they put them in a downtown hotel, it was not gonna go bode well for them.
Yeah. And
their premise was to just try to figure out where they could put them, where they keep things on the norm as best they can. So with Grandover being where we are, sitting on 1,500 acres of land, 2 golf courses, lots of outdoor space, we were able to win the bid to get them. After touring, we had obviously Norway toured, Germany toured, Haiti toured, Japan toured, and the Netherlands toured. And they all actually were interested in Grandover. It's just that Norway's specificity of being, we've got to have outdoors, got them the bid. So it was unbelievable. I mean, it was a month of being able to, they came in, they didn't know us, we didn't know them. They had very specific requirements about what you had to do in terms of the hotel itself. And it became, after 30 days, they were like friends. I mean, there were tears leaving the door when they left here to go to Dallas, and we were all the better for it. A lot of great stories about why they were here and things that they did I can share with you too.
Well, it's I would love to hear some of those specific. I think from an outsider looking in, it just seemed like, well, it was already a cool story to say, oh, well, if USA's not in it, or even alongside, like Norway staying in Greensboro, let's cheer for them.
Yeah.
But I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like that experience for them expanded so far outside the hotel. Like everybody I talked to was like, oh my God, Norway's been so cool. They went down and were cheering for the Hurricanes and Raleigh and all this stuff.
They did.
So yeah, just like, I guess get as intimate with that as we can.
Yeah.
How was that? They seem to really capture a lot of hearts.
They really did. And, if I kind of contrast this a little bit between what happened with Germany and Winston-Salem, they took over Grayling. And they really, it became almost a compound because they fenced it in. Well, if you juxtapose that at what Norway did, they were here. They had their own spaces that were very private, a lot of security. But when they ventured out, they were a normal hotel guest. And the interactions that happened with our guests, I mean, there is one snippet meme that's out there right now that's had almost 500,000 views of a lady just coming up to Erling Haaland, who's sitting outside and after a golf round on the patio, and said, and there's 2 guys there, and she comes up and says, hey, I hear you guys are the Norway team, and that the number one player in the world was sitting over here. And so Holland points to his social media guy and says, it's that guy right there. And that guy plays right into it. But that happened 1,000 times throughout the property, just our staff, those interactions that they had. And yes, the day of the 5th game of the Hurricanes, they just happened to inquire about, hey, is it a possibility that we go to the game? Well, there's no tickets that day, right? Well, 14 of them end up in a box, in a suite. So we can only guess that somebody, Nike, put a call in, somebody got bumped, and we're all laughing here going, who didn't get a seat to the 5th game of the Hurricanes? But those stories, and I know you heard them, I did, happened, Norway, I think, was just really interesting just because they had not been here. They'd been in the World Cup since '98. So there was so much fanfare. There was so much media around this attention. And the fact that the Norway team, 3 of the players' dads played on the '98 team. And then they did a Netflix series. Two are out. The first Netflix series was the '98 team. The second Netflix series was them qualifying to get here. And then third is shot here in Greensboro. So that will release in November, and it's going to be just an amazing story of everything they did. All they wanted to do was train, sleep, eat, and play golf.
I saw some of the social media of, I butcher his name, but you were just...
Yeah, Erling Haaland.
Erling,
yes.
I don't know if he was over at Sedgefield or...
He was. He was.
I was like, because I do pay attention to soccer.
Yeah.
But everybody was like, I was like, who is this guy?
Right.
And then someone was like, what block are you on?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's just the number one soccer player in the world.
Right. Yeah.
My bad.
I don't think anybody knew his name before he got here, and 5 days after he was here, everybody knew his name. And it would just happen that organically. Stat lines are
I
incredible.
started looking at his premiere. I was like, how do I not know who this guy is?
Yeah.
But
they were, I'll just tell you that I know that their culture, and they told us this is not me making this up. Their culture is, they're not real slap on the back, how you doing, good to see you, kind of culture. They're a little reserved. But it was fascinating to watch that change over the month they were here. Because, we're in the South and we're fairly gregarious and, outgoing and how you doing? And, they're trying to figure out what y'all means. And as a matter of fact, that meme that up early out on the cafe patio, he puts on his best Southern accent and says, hey, y'all, how you doing? So in his best Norwegian accent with a Southern twist. But anyway, how they changed over the month, they became much more approachable. And it wasn't that they weren't, it's just their culture doesn't go there. But they learned that was kind of our style, and they really enjoyed it. When they walked through our clap line, we did a clap line every day. That they left for a game, brought all our staff in. The first one, it was kind of just nodding and looking at us and thank you. And the last one, they're all high-fiving on their way out. So it was really, really special.
And they got, was it France that put them out?
No, it was England that put them out. Who is playing right now while we're doing this air game, right?
We'll have to get a mid-episode score check.
Just one last note, because everybody asked me about this because it was on social media quite a bit. They flew in almost 800 pounds of Norwegian salmon, Norwegian trout, and char for their own consumption, obviously. And there was a lot of social media about that. Oh, they didn't trust our food. They, blah, blah, blah. Nothing could have been further from the truth there. The truth was they did everything they could to normalize their experience, meaning keep everything the same. Even with foods and proteins, fish that are caught here and fish that are caught there have a little different bacteria, parasites. Your body's used to them. You don't introduce something brand new when you're getting ready to put a team in the World Cup, right?
Totally.
So they brought a lot of cheeses, those kind of things, that's just to normalize the experience. But everybody thought that was fascinating, that what they brought in. And then they took the whole second floor of the space here and transformed literally every single one of our meeting rooms. They flew in a team from Nike just to build them a gym in one of the meeting rooms. They had a training room. They had a video gaming room because they love video gaming. They had a movie watching / game watching. They would watch the games in their own meal room. They had cold plunges up in the meeting spaces. Really just, as I toured several of our friends and family while they were here of the spaces, it was kind of just blew everybody away. They had, pictures like the one behind us.
That's incredible.
Yeah, just a great shot. That's Holland in the back left. Mm-hmm. And, just them seeing how they put it all together was really just incredible.
That's just the more I think about it and hear you talk about it, it is incredible. It's just a cool thing.
Chance of a lifetime, really. And we kept saying to them, the women are playing in 31. We're like, we'd love to have the women here.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, right. Let's do it again.
That would be awesome.
Wouldn't it? Yeah.
Before we dive in a little bit about yourself.
Yeah.
And, what made Kelly. Staying on Norway, number one experience while they were here for you personally? Had the highest of the high, or if you want to tell the other end of that, man, this happened. It was crazy.
Right. I think seeing the emotion on the players and their staff when they walked out of here on the 30th day they were with us. They were real emotions. There were tears. There was lots of hugs. Players that, said this was the greatest experience we could have ever hoped for. Lots of comments. The head of the federation, a lady by the name of Lise, and I'm sorry I can't pronounce her Norwegian last name, delightful lady that was assigned to Norway. She was Norwegian, but she was a former player, but she was really one of our main contacts. She hugged every single staff person and visitor that came out to see them. Like, literally went and hugged them. And this lady is like, up in FIFA. I don't even know what to call it. But she literally went around the room and hugged every single person. And they presented us a beautiful signed jersey, as a parting gift. But the players were really moved. And it moved us because there were a lot of our staff that got real teary-eyed too. And because they're not coming back. I mean, right? That'll never happen again. It was a once in a lifetime chance. And I just thought it was a very human moment. Two cultures coming together and meeting each other and learning from each other. And, we always say, hey, felt like we were part of their success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you not to go down a different route, just that you mentioned the cultures coming together. Again, it's just personal feeling here. We could use so much more of that just as a society.
Agreed. I mean, thank you for bringing that up, because if I had something else to say about FIFA, I think the one thing that the World Cup has done is put different cultures sitting at tables together across the country and learning that we have so much more in common than we have different. And, you saw it in social media. It was everywhere. We thought the United States was this way, and we learned that it wasn't. And I mean, how many were out there that said, we owe you an apology? We thought you guys were a bunch of loud, obnoxious, whatever. Mm-hmm. And you're not. And you're just like me. And I thought it was really healing for our country. It really was. It was something we really, really needed. And I don't think anybody saw that coming. I didn't. But after you saw it over and over and over again, and then we witnessed it here, it was very, really gratifying. Really gratifying. And hats off to our community partners too. We've talked about Grandover, but the North Carolina Sports Foundation, Richard Beard and his team, just amazing work. All the people at UNCG and all the work that they did to get that pitch ready for them to play on that field. our Convention and Visitors Bureau, Tony Cordo, our president, how much work was put into making their stay here. All of the security people detailed from Greensboro PD, just amazing work that they did. I mean, everybody worked so hard to make it, because we knew this was our chance to shine. And across the board, that was the sentiment we got back from them. Is like, you guys could not have done this any better. And that was very gratifying.
That's awesome, Kelly. And good to hear, and just cool to be part of the same.
Cool to be part of, right? Yeah. Just have it in our community. It was like, it didn't drop in our lap. We had to work for it, but just to have it. Yeah. Yeah.
It's incredible.
Thank you.
Let's rewind. Kelly.
Yeah.
Tell us about where you're from, how you got here, what brought you into what do we call this, industry?
Hospitality.
Yeah. That's it. Hospitality industry.
Yeah.
My bad. It's late.
Yeah, I didn't know the word either until it's a long and winding road.
Let's hear about it.
Yeah. Born at Wesley Long Hospital. I'm a lifelong resident, Yeah.
Likewise.
Yeah, nice.
Yep.
And my wife was born at Cone. So we are a Greensboro family. Grew up in Kirkwood and had a, very normal childhood and grew up. Went to Irving Park for first and second grade. Busing started, bused to Hampton. Then fourth grade, they moved us to Archer, which is right over near Four Seasons Town Center. Back to Irving Park for fifth and sixth grade, to what was Aycock Junior High School for junior high school, and then to Page. And then out of Page, not being the greatest student at the end of high school, went into the Navy. And it was the greatest thing I ever did. Turned a boy into a man, and got out and went to Guilford College. And that kind of started my career there. Is how I got to that point.
So Guilford College, what was the first move for the career?
Yeah. So I was a biology major and a chemistry minor, thinking I wanted to go to dental school. And in the summer during Guilford College, I got a job with a company called PST, and they were a subsidiary of MCI Long Distance. Remember them?
MCI, yeah.
Remember them?
Mm-hmm.
And they were, AT&T had a monopoly on all long distance. So this is before cell phones, right? So they hired this company PST out of Colorado to come in and take away some of the market share from AT&T. So MCI hired this company to come in and go out and solicit businesses door to door. So I was waiting tables when I was in the Navy, down in Charleston. I learned how to wait tables. So I was going to school, waiting tables, and then I got this job with PST. And we were going to corporate business and taking all of their telephony business, all of their long distance, which for businesses back then was a lot of money. Moving them over to MCI, saving them a lot of money, and it was like giving candied ice cream to babies. I mean, it was so easy, and it was such a great job. And we were, I was a young kid. I was learning how to sell. I enjoyed it. I put kind of everything on hold. And went down the road with PST, learning how to sell telephony, learned so much about it, and really thought it was my career. Got married, had our first child, and my father-in-law, who was Joe Koury, came to me one Sunday afternoon and said, I needed to talk to you. And I'm like, well, okay, what's this going to be about? And I'm looking at my wife and I was like, any idea what this is about? And she's like, I think I know, but you go on over. So we go over on a Sunday afternoon, and if you know Joe Koury, he's very persuasive. And he pulled out a bottle of scotch, put that on the table, poured us a drink. He didn't ask me what I wanted. It was, you're drinking scotch. Here it is. And he said, I'm going to build my dream. Which is a resort property, didn't have a name at the time. And he says, you know how to sell. You've you've proved yourself with this company you've been doing for the last 3 or 4 years. You obviously know how to sell. You've been promoted. You're now, a vice president with the company, and you know what you're doing. And I need to build a sales team, and I want to start selling it before I ever start building it. I want people to know what it is. And I'm like, first, I don't know anything about hotels, I don't know anything about the resort business. I don't know anything about the golf business. And I really don't want to go to work for a family business. It's kind of putting all your eggs in one basket, right? Mm-hmm. And I just thought it was just a conflict of interest. I wanted to kind of forge my own way. But after half a bottle of scotch, in a very persuasive way that Joe Koury being Lebanese, he was very persuasive. He says, "You're gonna live in our family. You're gonna come to work for our business." I say that tongue in cheek. He didn't mean it. If I'd said no, he would have honored it. But anyway, he said, "I want you to come learn the hospitality business." And I said, "Yeah, I don't know how I can say no to being a part of your dream. I don't know how I could pass that away." And that's Grandover Resort today. I'm sorry if I didn't put that in perspective. He said, "But you're going to have to go learn the hotel business, and I need you to go report to what was the Sheraton Koury Convention Center. Now it was the Holiday Inn back then. Mm-hmm. You'll go to work. You'll be at Monday morning. You'll be over the Holiday Inn." I'm like, "No, I can't go Monday morning. I need 2 weeks. Give me at least 2 weeks." So he did, But anyway, long story short, I learned the hotel business at the Holiday Inn. Worked my way through the ranks like anybody else would. I sat in reservations. I didn't know anything about the language, how hotels worked. Moved into the sales department after I kind of got the lingo down. Spent many years on the road, calling on clients, going all over the United States, trade shows, kind of cut my teeth learning the hotel business. Became the director of sales there, ran the sales team under Mo Milani's supervision. A lot of your guests may know Mo. He was our executive vice president of hospitality for many, many years, 30 years, 40 years. Amazing man that just taught me everything there was to know about hospitality. And Grandover was coming out of the ground at that time. And, unfortunately, Mr. Koury got to see the 2 golf courses get built. And the hotel was 3/4 of the way, maybe a little more than that, and tragically passed away in mid-construction. And because of that and just how we had to flex and change our direction of who was going to run the hotel, I stayed at the Sheraton for a good bit longer, and then came over here in 2018 as general manager. And then as my predecessor, Mo Milani passed away in 2020, I took his role as executive vice president, looking after Grandover, Sheraton, and our other property, the Holiday Inn Coliseum. So, and I know it's a long way to tell you how I got there, but that's how I got here. Yeah, kind of a winding road.
No, I love that. I'm sure you don't regret the decision by any means.
I do not. I look back on it and think, what was I thinking? If I had not done that, I don't know. I'd probably be selling cell phones right now or something. I don't know what I would have been doing.
But hang out over there with Don and Scott.
Yeah. I absolutely fell in love with the industry. The hospitality industry it fits my personality. I love people. I love sales. I like people. I like managing people to a place where they feel good about what they're doing. We have a great culture in our hotels at all 3 hotels. And it's been one of those things where I grew into it, but at the same time I grew from it. And I think that I've been able to share some of that with a lot of my colleagues and the people that have worked with me through the years, and they've grown to love the industry. To answer your point, I'm so grateful that I made the decision to come on board.
Yeah, and I think not to just bring everything back to Norway, but when you talk about the culture of the environment here, if you guys didn't have that experience wouldn't have been so emotional for them. And so I think just as a testimony to y'all, You have to have incredible culture to make that big of an impact on a national Norwegian. Like you can't affect somebody that's in that state of mind in 30 days unless you're doing something pretty incredible.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I would love to think that that's true. And I do think it is true. We talk so much about at all of our hotels, and Marvin and I talked about it briefly today, that, we have in hospitality such a interesting opportunity to affect people in a positive way. But we kind of turn it on its hat a little bit with our team, and the way I do all of our own customer service training along with our general managers. We do it together. We don't give it to somebody else to do, because we really want to hear it from us. Plus it lets us get to know them on a personal level as they first join the company. But one of the things that we talk about is life purpose. And we say to them, and mean it, is that, we all are working here together and we have a job to do. We have to put food on the table. We have to take care of our families, take care of our kids. Life is very difficult out there. We do not brush over the fact that a lot of folks that work with us and for us that are on our team live and deal with difficult circumstances. We all do in our own way. But what we say is that, when you come to the hotel, the one thing that you can do, we all can do, is change the direction possibly of a person that's standing in front of you. And it might be something as simple as holding the door for somebody, patting someone on the shoulder, or thanking them for their business. But what we say is that if you're doing that, you're taking off your career, your job hat, and you're putting on life purpose hat, where you're really doing what we're all as human beings doing here on this earth. I mean, this is a job and it's a career, but it's so much more than that. And when you can give back and change someone's, day and make it just a little bit better, you've done what you're here to do. And that doesn't matter whether it's the dishwasher or the guy that signs the checks.
Yeah.
And we talk about that a lot, and we remind each other of that, how fortunate we are. And our staff buys into that, and for good reason, because it's true. I mean, it really is true. They see it, and they like to tell us how they affected. They like to tell us, hey, I was talking to Mr. So-and-so, and we had a great conversation, and I found out that, we had this in common and none of that. And, those conversations I hear from our team all the time. And that's what wakes me up in the morning and makes me want to come into work, is that we get that opportunity.
I love that. There's a guy that I've just started following. I got his book to start reading. We butcher the title. It talks about just unpacking his backpack.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know who this is.
No.
I need to finish reading it. But I bought it because he talks about that. He was 22. He wrote this book, and he tours and preaches on it. And there was just the positive impact you can have on others and how it comes back to you.
Yeah.
And he tells a story about buying his bunny tacos. And I won't get too far into it, but it's simply saw him on Facebook, knew he loved tacos, sent him tacos to his door. And when the guy got the tacos, he called and was just like in tears.
Wow.
You have no idea.
Amazing.
What's been going on in our lives. And just that alone. And so it's a longer story than that, but just a simple act of you send somebody some tacos, or you held the door for them.
Right.
You never know what impact.
Yes.
Or what they're going through on all levels of life.
On all levels. Yeah. Right. It's a tough world out there, and we all know that. And we just want people to, when we step into the building, to both from our team and from our teammates, our clients, is just to have that experience of seeing some normalcy, just some peace, because they come here for a lot of reasons. Some for education, some are just refuge, just need a place to hang their head for the night.
Yeah.
But some for relaxation, and we never know what, and we don't know what they're bringing in with them. And if we can just make it, if they leave this much better, we've done our job.
Agreed.
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right. So we've grown up here.
Yeah.
Gotten to the family business. It's brought us to where we're at. Let's kind of shift into that family business a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you grew up in Greensboro and there, the Koury name is big. So
We know that you've shared this was kind of his big dream. Tell us a little bit more about what you know about how he got started,
Right.
And just Koury, the name, what's been built, and everything around it.
Great. It's a long story about Joe Koury, and it's a fascinating story, and I'll try to give it to you really quick just for the sake of time. But his parents came through Ellis Island. I mean, it's as American story as it can be. Lebanese immigrants fleeing the war, Christian, come to the United States, Lebanese went everywhere up, Lot ended up in the Detroit area, Lot ended up here, and a lot ended up down in the shores of Alabama, all for different reasons, but mostly because of where labor was. So anyway, his parents came, got on a train, I won't tell you the details of that, landed in Burlington, and because of all the textile work, hopped off the train, didn't know anybody, couldn't speak the language, started a family. Long story short, they built a family, had 5 kids, parents had 5 kids, cousins grew up next door, 2 houses, Lebanese family, they were Catholic, dark skin. You can imagine in the 20s and 30s the kind of stigma that went along with them, Same plight as many minorities were feeling in that same time frame. And he grew up in the household, wasn't a great student, didn't like school. And just kind of the long story short of it, went to Elon College for one day and said, this isn't for me.
It's crazy how many entrepreneurs, the more I talk to, it's like,
right.
Because I don't have a college degree.
Yeah.
And it was, for the longest time, it was one of my biggest regrets.
Yeah.
And the older I get, the more I'm like, I want to instill education on my son.
Right.
I guess my definition of education is just
very different.
Very different.
Very different. You and I are in the same boat. For the most part, the Navy was my education. Yeah, and the streets. But it served me well.
Yeah.
Anyway, the fascinating part of Joe's story is how much of you hit on it, how much of an entrepreneur mind he had when he started a textile business in Burlington, very small, after World War II. He was, couldn't fight because he had some medical issues that prevented him from going overseas, but he was in the Army. But when he got out, and the story goes, he had $1.49 in his pocket, and he ended up buying a small textile machine in Burlington and grew this business. They were selling rayons and some other fabrics on the open market in New York. So they knit them here, send them there, make money. Outgrew the mill that they were in, or the warehouse they were in Burlington. And were looking for a larger space. Well, if you know the history of Greensboro, you know that there was an Army base here over off of Summit Avenue in Bessemer, right there on the corner, called ORD, Overseas Replacement Depot. So the Army made a makeshift Army base there during the war because of the railways that came in here. So they were bringing troops in from up north, housed them in Greensboro, got them ready to go. They either went to Europe or they went to the Pacific. So they built these makeshift Army barracks. Well, at the end of the war, Army had no use for them anymore. Joe just happened to be looking for a bigger warehouse space, so he bought one and put his knitting machines in there and ended up outgrowing that space and didn't know what to do with the buildings. Like, what am I going to do with these buildings now? Well, his brother, Edmund, was, so I think he's a senior at NC State, first kid to go to college, and said, you know what, everybody's looking for housing after the war. Why don't we, on the weekends, take these things, chop them up into 3 pieces, put them on a flatbed truck. Greensboro's growing like crazy. Why don't we see if we can find a lot and start making a house out of them? And he's like, well, that's brilliant. So they did. So they got their cousins in the middle of the night, Saturday night, when they weren't doing the other stuff. They were buying these barracks, cutting them in half, put it on a flatbed, going down what is now 70 Wendover Avenue, lifting the power lines up and over the house. And they put their first house on the corner of Hill Street and Wendover. And
I'm taking notes.
Yeah, Hill Street and Wendover. The house is still there. He ended up buying a whole street of property and putting these old barracks that look like A-frame. They are literally the simplest house you've ever seen. A-frame. Sometimes they put a fireplace on it, or a dormer, or a chimney, but you can go see them today. They're all still there. Well, he was like, sold it sold them as fast as he could put them on the lot. He's like, we're in the wrong business. So they started Imperial Corporation, which turned into Koury Corporation. And 10,000 homes later, he was Greensboro's largest land developer. Built the first mall in North Carolina, Four Seasons Town Center. Little man from Memphis, Tennessee, came knocking on his door one day and said, hey, with this new highway, Interstate 40, that just got built, I'm going to put this new hotel product on every corner across the United States. And Joe was like, I'm interested. Let's talk. And he's like, well, this thing, it's called Holiday Inn. So he bought his first Holiday Inn franchise, put it over there, which is now, the Sheraton, Sheraton Koury Convention Center. And that's how he got into the business. Bought the mall, built the mall. That's a whole nother story, just amazing. The real short story of that mall is he put the caissons in the ground to hold a first level mall. Banks wouldn't lend him the money because they didn't believe in malls. They said, nobody's going to shop inside. That's crazy. You're crazy, Joe. Why are you spending money on that? He's like, no, I've been to Atlanta. I saw the Galleria. It's real. People are gonna shop inside. So he built the first mall, put a first level mall, getting ready to go up to put the roof on. He said, nope, stop. I think we need a second floor. So they redesigned it and reinforced the caissons. I don't know how they did it. They had to probably put some additional reinforcement. Got ready to do that. He said, no, stop. I think I need to do a third floor one day. Jeez. So he built the infrastructure for a 3-level mall before anybody was shopping on a 2-level mall, and opened it as a 2-level mall. And then 10 years later, opened the third. So just the vision for that was just incredible. The same for building a 1,000-room hotel in Greensboro, North Carolina, the Sheraton. Nobody would have ever guessed that it could be successful, but you build it and it will come. I mean, it was his vision for Grandover.
I wanted to circle back to that at some point.
Yeah.
And now's a good opportunity to do it. One, incredible story. Thank you for sharing that. And sales, you mentioned that he wanted you to start selling before.
Yes.
And I get that as I came from new construction, now real estate. I get selling dirt, understanding the idea of it.
Right.
And even being able to put a value or a contract to it.
Right.
So what were you selling exactly?
Right.
So it's specific to this vision.
Exactly. He knew that the sales cycle, especially for the size hotel Grandover is 244 rooms and 45,000 square feet of space. Groups that book that kind of business book it years out, a lot of cases. Like they'll put, if you have a group that takes most of the hotel, they may book that hotel 2 and 3 years out to make sure they get the dates they want and the space in the room blocks that they want. So he wanted me to learn that way ahead of time, learn the lingo, build the team, and start putting it together. And while we were doing that, selling golf tournaments as the hotel came out of the ground. So it's really just thinking ahead, like I want a seasoned team when that hotel opens. I don't want to get a team that doesn't know anything about the hotel the day that the hotel opens. I want them in place and learning it. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. He sounds like a smart dude. I'm not going to question what he has to do. Yeah. So you mentioned golf.
Yes.
I used to drive over here when I worked at Sedgefield and come hang out. We would swap and go back and forth the back streets. Let's talk about the Wyndham.
Right.
And Grandover's ties to that and everything around it.
Right. So, we've been so fortunate to be able to host the Wyndham tournament here for 20 years. Just amazing. And our relationship with them since the very beginning has been fantastic. It's been a partnership. Now, as you know, we only became a Wyndham 6 years ago. And that became, it was one of those things where we wanted to potentially bring a flag on, but we were independent, Grandover was. And we were doing all the work ourselves, meaning we're selling the property ourselves without really anybody else's help. When you bring a franchise flag in, you actually get lots of help. You get, a full, website, and then all the portals that come in from Expedia and Booking.com and all those things. And then you get the Wyndham brand to go along with it, kind of as a credential. So they ask us from, years back, hey, we'd love for you to be a Wyndham. We'd love for you to be a Wyndham. They did not have really the product that matched Grandover. They had resorts and that sort of thing, but they didn't have really anything that really fit the Grandover style. But they developed this Wyndham Grand kind of prototype over the years. And 6 years ago, they came to us and said, we really would like to further this conversation. And they made us a great deal. It was just a great partnership. We thought it was a great community effort that tied the golf tournament, the Wyndham tournament, and then the hotel becoming a part of Wyndham. It just was a great tie-in. We thought it would just bolster that whole effort. And it has been just a kind of a magical experience ever since. They've been great to us. They're just such a great group of people at Wyndham. Everybody from Jeff Bellotti on down that we've worked with they do anything and everything to help us be successful. And we've cherished the relationship.
That's cool. So do a lot of the players stay here?
They do.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Wyndham kind of uses the tournament a little bit as a wine and dine to take care of all of their franchisees. So they have actually two phases. So the early part of the tournament, they bring in one group of people. They really take care of them, send them to the Pro-Am, let them play. They get to see, Wednesday and Thursday. They, for the most part, leave, and another group comes in Wednesday or Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And they, wine and dine these folks, take them there, have just great parties, and it's a thank you to the franchisees. It's just for them, it's perfect because it just fits, their whole branding and what they do as a hotel company. And what they've done out at Setchfield, with Margaritaville and the beach and just the way that they put that together, it continues to get better and better and better.
It's been fun, man.
It is
here, and you remember the GGO? We were talking about this. And then GCC.
You got out of school every day when the GGO is like, I got tickets to GGO. Go.
My grandfather, textile company as well, out of Gibsonville, so close to Burlington.
Yeah.
Dixie Bell Textile.
Okay, no kidding.
That was your family. That was my family. Yeah. Same thing. Got a 2-year accounting degree after the war.
Yep.
And started working for them as an accountant. And then as time went on, I think it was 72-ish. He was like president, CEO.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember how it went. It was either the Cashwell family or I think maybe even the Stafford family. Somebody something didn't go well, and then he had the opportunity, I want to say early to mid 80s to buy it. And so he made that decision. And then Dad had he started sweeping floors and was going to go to law school, and never left. So he graduated from App State barely, as he would say it, and started sweeping floors, and he became their best sales guy.
Wow.
Traveling the country.
That's a great story.
So similar background. I wanted to share that.
It absolutely is.
He started talking about threads and stuff. I was like, man, I remember that.
Yeah. There's one piece I want to throw in about Grandover. I think your listeners and viewers would love to hear, because people don't know this. Joe bought Grandover's property from Anheuser-Busch. Right.
That's awesome.
I know. I didn't know this either for a long time. He bought it when Anheuser-Busch was looking where they were going to place the brewery and amusement park, which is now at Williamsburg, Virginia.
Really?
Yes. So they found this property here and bought 500 acres, I believe. And then they started going through, all what you have to go through to build something like that. And as they put it to our city fathers back at the time, it was so far away, this property was, from the pump stations, for the amount of water that they were going to have to do the brewery, it didn't make sense. And they passed on Greensboro and ended up building it in Williamsburg. Well, Joe bought it 30 years before he ever did anything with it. It sat here, and he just paid taxes on it all those years and just dreamed. He'd come out on Sundays. There was trails out here. I mean, the old stories about the Grandover land in Sedgefield go deep. I mean, way back. just the stories of people riding horses. And
So we almost had a Busch Gardens here.
we could have had a Busch Gardens, yeah.
And then now we got this.
Now we got green. So anyway,
Throw it up on a roller.
yeah. So anyway, it's just an interesting caveat to our talk. Yeah.
No, that's great. Thank you for throwing that in.
Yeah.
So players, who have you, notable players you've seen throughout the years?
Well, everybody. Everybody's been here. It seems like the only person that didn't stay here we wanted to was Tiger when he came through.
Where I was going to bring that up. Where did he stay? Do we know?
Yeah, I don't know if any of it's true. Mostly were homes. I heard he was at the O. Henry one night, but I think they had to move him because it was just got chaotic. And that's hearsay. That may not even be true. But we had
the O. Henry would be crazy if you
crazy. That's what I would think.
This seems more. I know it's close to the tournament.
Yeah, I think he just needed that home, and he ended up somewhere there. And I'm not even sure whose home he stayed in. But we've seen them all come through. I mean, we've been very fortunate to have some of the greatest players in the world come through here and through the years and watch them play. Been terrific.
No pressure. Are you comfortable speaking about who you really enjoyed, and then maybe it's like, they never came back to Grandover, we'd be okay with it?
Jordan Spieth has always been just super nice. He
seems like a genuine guy.
He came here when he was just a rookie, and just got his card, and he was playing, and he grew up with us. And when he comes back, it's just been great. We've had some that I'm not going to mention any names, but I've been surprised by some folks that have been, Mick Fleetwood. I never would have guessed what a friendly, lovely guy this guy is. I mean, he's just not Mick Fleetwood. What's his name? Tommy.
Yeah, Fleetwood.
Mick Fleetwood. Man.
Yeah.
Tommy.
I was like, is that a mix of Mickelson and Tommy Fleetwood?
I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
Tommy, and what a nice guy he is. He held court in our cafe one day with a bunch of kids that were playing. They were putting on the cafe floor. It was raining. He was just sitting in there having lunch, and things like there's lots of little stories like that have just through the years have been fantastic.
I hate playing against him in the Ryder Cup, but it's tough to hate on Tommy. He seems like a good dude.
He's a good dude. He really is. Yeah.
Kelly, you obviously have a crazy knowledge of just the history of Greensboro. Before we get into some rapid fire questions we'd like to do, where do you see Greensboro's tourism now, and where do you kind of see the future and where that's going?
Yeah.
And even if you want to bring that back to how Grandover ties into that.
Yeah, okay, great. I made myself a note or two just because I didn't want to get it wrong. So right now, the economic impact of tourism in Guilford County, and that's how our tourism board calculates it. It's not just Greensboro, but it extends to the borders of Guilford County, which obviously includes High Point. In 24, we don't have 25's numbers yet, was $1.75 billion in economic spending. So it's a huge industry that I don't think people really quite get their head around. Groups and association groups, social groups, sports tourism, which is, as you know, we're tournament town, is on fire for Greensboro. People know us for our hospitality, and that spending continues to come back and come back again. Right now, we're employing in hospitality in Greensboro, in Guilford County, roughly about 11,000 employees. So it's a big, big industry. And we are at a really, really great place right now. Now, saying all of that, our facilities need a lot of work. The Greensboro Coliseum has been just, as you know, it has been one of our greatest staples for a driver that drives a business here. Our convention center at the Sheraton, even though it's private, between the Coliseum and the Sheraton, we are kind of what we call the compressionaries. We compress the market, meaning groups that are using the Coliseum, groups that are using the convention center, when they fill up our hotels locally, it puts compression out into the other hotels, and they benefit from that because they can raise their rates a little bit. It's not as much availability, and so you can ask a higher price. So we have to keep all of our drivers, that bring things to Greensboro in the best shape it can be. Coliseum needs a lot of work. Fortunately, I believe we're going to have some money to spend on it. The city has been helping, and we've asked the state to help out a little bit too. And we're going to be able to fix some things that are in dire need of being fixed. But we're in a really great place. The Aquatic Center has been remarkably successful, beyond anything that we could have ever imagined. And we want to continue to invest in that. There's things that we need to do that to keep it on the cutting edge, but it is considered the fastest water in the United States. Katie Ledecky's been here 5 times. She thinks it's one of the greatest pools in the United States. We have hosted literally every major swimming event that you can host except for the Olympic trials in Greensboro. All the YMCA, all of the major meets that you could have been here, ACC tournament, you name it, we've hosted them with great success. The Tanger Center, wow. I mean, nobody could have guessed what a great success that's been. I mean, it's considered for an off-Broadway theater to be one of the number one places you're going to consider when you're going to take a show out of Broadway. So that's been majorly successful. From a hospitality, there's lots of things that we need. We need more meeting space. We need an exhibit hall. We need the Coliseum to be retrofitted. We need probably new soccer fields. We need some additional soccer fields. We're kind of at that place now where if we had 4 more soccer fields out at Bryant Park, we could host a whole nother host of tournaments, that we're not able to do right now. Some of them need to be returfed. There's those kinds of things where we're doing great, but we have to take care of what we have. And our Convention and Visitors Bureau is doing a great job. Tony Cordo, I mentioned earlier today, our new president, is just amazing. He is really very focused. He's thinking about things very strategically, about the future, how things that we're going to have to do first, things we need to spend on. A big catalyst for growth in tourism is your downtown in any city. And we've got a lot of work to do downtown. We all know that. There's things there that we really need to work on. There's been lots of conversations about the potential of closing the streets on Friday and Saturday nights, just temporarily, just to be able to get rid of some of the things that are happening downtown that are keeping people away. Namely, loud cars and loud music is really what people are not. That's what you hear from patrons when they say, well, I don't want to go down there, I don't feel safe, or I can't have dinner on the streets at Crafted because it's too loud, because every car that goes by has got their loud music too loud. So things like that, where you're thinking ahead going, how do we make an environment in our downtown area safe, clean, taking care of people that are living down there, including our homeless population. We need to look after those people, have to figure out how we commingle, giving them the things that they need. So it's one of those back and forth that is happening right now. It's a major conversation that's happening with people in the downtown area. But the downtown area can be a major catalyst for us to bring new tourism and corporate business too to our city.
Yeah, and we have so much. A lot of people don't realize this. To your point, our Coliseum is one of the top 5 largest Coliseum, city-owned,
right,
in the world, maybe. Top
23,000 seats is a huge arena.
Yeah. And then you take everything around that, but also to the Tanger Center. It's bigger than DPAC and whatever they call Charlotte's.
Right, correct.
So it seats more people. Mm-hmm. And just those 2 things alone are incredible. You mentioned Bryant Park, just those facilities from a public standpoint.
Right.
You take the availability of a resort like Grandover and 2 courses at Bryant Park, in this area alone. I mean, some of the areas in Raleigh and Charlotte, like, you don't play good golf unless you're a member of the club.
Yeah, right. It's true.
It's expensive.
Yes, it is.
You know, and I don't consider it cheap to play Grandover or Bryant Park.
Right.
But, you know, it's under $100.
It is.
And
right.
paid way more to play a much worse golf course.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
I love that about this area. As a golfer, just the public. Anyway, I got no tangent here.
No, we're very fortunate, but you know, to have the availability for anyone that wants to play Grandover, and that is part of our stigma at Grandover. People think it's private. We're not. It's, you know, if your money's green, you're welcome to play.
It's
and Bryant Park, and then Bryant Park. I mean, just amazing. I mean, two great golf courses out there.
And they've had the pub links there.
Yes,
since 2010. And challenging golf courses.
It is, yeah.
The Easton Champions course.
They're hard.
Play them all the way back.
It's more golf course than I want.
I don't even play them all the way back in fact.
I can't, no.
I used to.
Yeah.
Before we move on from that, I was talking, and this, I'm glad you brought up downtown. I won't go too far down that.
Yeah.
Because as somebody who's lived here my whole life,
yes,
seen changes there and this and that, and growth, positive and negative. I'm a huge, do I go downtown? Not much. And that's not because I choose not to.
Right.
I live in a friendly center. I don't like traffic in general.
Yeah.
I can kind of get where I need to go, but it would be nice to be able to go downtown, park relatively close to where I'm going,
right.
You know, walk to a dinner and,
yes.
and have a good vibe downtown. And, I haven't been down there enough to have an educated conversation on this, but, one of the, I don't want to say names. One of our, we'll just say Congress people, local government.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and they've been catching a lot of heat with the tax increases around housing and and everything, and downtown and social media and all of this.
Yeah.
I ran into him, and I had a contrary opinion to something.
Yeah.
And he was just so cool. He was like, "Hey, I want to thank you." To your point about the Norway and the cultures coming together, he said, I want to thank you for, you know, just wording that as such that, you know, hey, thank you for your point.
Right.
Heard that.
Yeah.
And I just feel like we need more of that down there.
We do.
Two very extremes. Whether you agree with some of the decisions that are being made, I think everybody's kind of in a hard spot right now. Because you said, like, we need more money to go to the Coliseum. We need to do something with that downtown area.
Right.
And then maybe there isn't an exact right answer.
Yeah.
If we're just going to sit on both two sides and just yell at each other.
It's not going to help us.
Nowhere.
No. Right. Yeah. And I think the one thing I love about Greensboro is, you know, I always tell people, you know, Greensboro is the largest town in the United States.
Yes.
We're still can be a town. And we have that, our downtown accentuates that. Feels like kind of an old school, a little bit of mix of modern and old industrial blend. And I love that because a lot of the buildings are still there and just as they were and have so much potential upside to be retrofitted and fixed and maintained in their architectural detail. We spent a lot of time thinking about downtown and what it could be. And the vision that I love is that one day, if you've ever been to Boulder, Colorado, and been down Pearl Street, they had the exact same issue we did in Greensboro 15, 20 years ago. Now, they ended up permanently closing their boulevard, but it is the most magnificent place you've ever seen. And every store is full. It is bustling with families and kids and dogs and vendors and people painting art and music. But they had to really take a stance and say, look, this is going to be a place and a safe place. And they went through the process. Now, we're a long way from that. But what I do think we can do in the meantime, Greensboro has an amazing music opportunity right now. And we have been saying that we could become, if we put our minds to it, an emerging artist destination. Meaning, you know, you can't go to Nashville if you're a young singer, or Austin. You know, if you can't get in there, you know, you won't be seen. But in Greensboro, if you're an up-and-coming artist, if we had Friday and Saturday nights, places where a singer-songwriter, like just literally, I mentioned Crafted, but any of the bars and restaurants along there who don't traditionally have music, if we organized it so that we're activating these things on the weekends so that you and your family could come downtown, streets are closed off, you don't have to worry about, cars going down the boulevard. You can walk out of one bar or restaurant, carry your drink of preference, go to the other, hear a singer-songwriter, go to another, hear another one, vendors in the streets. It's activated. Maybe it's dog weekend, or maybe it's North Carolina artist weekend. It could be whatever we want it to be. And then ultimately sit down and eat dinner somewhere without having all of that. String lights across the street, the cross sections left open for fire safety, just the main areas of Elm Street, and try it for a year or so and just see if it works. I think what we will find as a city is that 80% of the people that live in Greensboro are not coming downtown. We know that. If 10% more of those people would come down and shop and go to these different vendors, these bars and restaurants that they haven't been going to, and take a show at Tanger Center, or go to the Pearl, or go to Natty Greens, or go down South Greensboro, or go across the street, Elm Street, to the Continental Club. Those are things, that's what people want to be able to do in our downtown area. Mm-hmm. That's what I think we all envision. And from that, it could spur on all kinds of other opportunities. But right now, it's a lot of what you said, people just not being able to come to an agreement. But I've got a vision for it, and I see that happening. I know that if you do that, you string lights up, you have police presence, you keep it safe, you can bring your kids, all those vendors up and down the streets will do well, and then they'll also fill in the real estate that's not currently full right now. The real estate value will go up. It's tried and true throughout the United States. Everybody that's done it has been successful. Denver, Larimore Square, perfect example. Same exact issue they had. And they turned it around. Now it's the number one place in downtown Denver to go to.
All right, let's bring it back to some fun stories here. You've obviously been in the hospitality business for a long time. And again, share as you please. What's maybe the funniest guest complaint you've ever had? The one where everybody in the back room is like, "What'd they just say?"
Yeah, I mean, complaint.
Complaint, or just
I mean, just funny story. I can't tell you how many people have been locked out of the room with no clothes on. I mean, those are good. Those just happen all the time. You just cannot believe people walk out in the hallway and shut the door. I mean, it's just it.
What do they do?
I don't know. Getting ice, and then they're there. I didn't bring a key. Those happen all the time. People have been in really compromised situations in the hotel. Those are always funny stories. There's a great story when we hosted the largest event we probably ever had in Greensboro. Was the Southern Baptist Convention.
That was going to be my next question. So perfect.
Well, just a funny story about that. This was many years ago, and it probably is the largest event we ever have hosted as a city. It was 16,000 people here for 10 days. Greensboro Coliseum, every hotel in town, I mean massive. And the meeting planner, who was a good friend of mine, kept telling us through the whole event, it's like, you better have enough ice cream. If you don't have enough ice cream, every night they're going to eat you out of ice cream. So we set up, we put so much work into this ice cream bar at the Sheraton. It was up in the north lobby. We had every fixing. I mean, when I say we bought things of cherries, strawberries, well, it was the middle of July when they held this, and we went out to market to find ice cream cups that we cannot serve this many people, right? We'll drive ourselves crazy. So we went to Blue Bunny ice cream, and we bought a tractor trailer load of Blue Bunny ice cream, literally a tractor trailer. And we had them park it out back. Well, it was July. It was the coolest, wettest July in Greensboro history when the Southern Baptist Convention was here. and they ate no ice cream.
So you guys just had a whole trip.
And when I tell you they ate no ice cream, we thought we were going to have thousands every night. It just, for whatever reason, they just didn't have it. So we ended up literally having to pack 2 of our freezers over at the Sheraton full of ice cream. We were making deals with people. Every group that came through here, how would you like to have an ice cream bar? We can make you a deal. And it was one of those things where they just told us we better have it ready. It wasn't something we were charging them for. We were going to charge on a per consumption basis. And we got left with a tractor trailer worth of ice cream. And to this day, we laugh about it. Like, hey, you need any blueberry? Our chef will go in the kitchen every now and then and go back in the corner and say, hey, look what I found, Blue Bunny ice cream.
Been here for 20 years.
But we've had...
That's too funny.
Yeah, we've had just great stories and funny stuff. I mean, I've had people complain. I had a lady complain that the salt was not salty enough in our salt shakers. She goes, this isn't real salt. I'm like... What are you talking about? Are you serious? I mean, she literally asked for the manager. She goes, "Is this salt? What is this?"
What did they think it was?
And everybody, I don't know. Obviously, she could not taste salt. I mean, I've had the craziest complaints ever. And
This pepper is not peppered.
This pepper is not pepper. I mean,
Sure, you it's peppered.
I have literally heard everything under the sun. I mean, you can't imagine. People make up stuff. Just a lot of times to get a free room. Just whatever it is.
You ever in those situations, even though, you hear the customer's always right, do you ever just comp the room or give into it just because it's not worth the headache?
It is not. It is not. It's not worth the ugly review they'll leave. And we try. I mean, look, when someone comes to us and says, I have a complaint, we listen. I mean, we take every... we don't really come from the place where every customer's right. I mean, we don't really acknowledge that as much, but we do say every customer needs to be heard.
Yeah.
And heard completely out. Don't interrupt them. Let them vent, whatever it is. And some of the best things we've ever learned have come from customers who give us constructive criticism. Had one today. Had one this morning. A gentleman came in. He was exactly right. What he said was exactly right. It was something we needed to correct. And we did. Already been done. So we learn from our customers. I think it's, you're stupid if you're not listening to your customers, right? But we have heard it all. We've heard it all.
That's cool. I won't brush you there much further. We've talked about some, golfers in Norway and whatnot. Any other real famous guest who surprised you? Maybe they were a lot nicer than you anticipated.
Yeah.
Or the other side of that.
Springsteen was incredibly nice, and the whole band, E Street Band, they were all here. They were great. Michael Jordan was just a gentleman to everybody. He was just super nice. He stayed with us for many years during a golf tournament that was held by his good friend Fred Whitfield, and stayed in the same suite. We still call it kind of the Jordan suite.
I've heard he stayed in that anyway.
Yeah, he has. And but we've really no one that comes to mind was just really a jerk. Fortunately, they've been more of them have been kind and friendly than anything else. I'm trying to think if there was anybody
And nobody that made you put nothing but green M&Ms in a jar for him. Nothing like that.
Not here, but at our Sheraton property, David Lee Roth had the worst rider of any rider I've ever seen, and this was years ago. This was Van Halen days, but he did have a rider that asked for green M&Ms.
Really?
Yeah, only green M&Ms, but he didn't put it in there. His tour manager put it in there, and he put it right in the middle of all this other stuff that he wanted, but he put it in there to see if you'd read it and follow through. So he'd walk in the room, if the green M&Ms weren't there, he knew you didn't read it. That was he was like, he's not going to even eat those things. And he always asked me, why you got green M&Ms there? I don't even like them.
Yeah. Okay, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Kind of like the teacher gives you a test, and if you get it all the way and you pay attention, it's like, all you got to do is hand this back in. And anyway, sorry, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, going back to Greensboro, and if you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings being in the hospitality industry, you let me know. Favorite restaurants? Local.
Yeah.
Local and restaurants.
Yeah. Well, I'd have to say Finial here.
You gotta say that. Yeah.
It really is a remarkable restaurant, and we just implemented where we're not using any seed oils any longer. We're all using healthy fats there. which are, avocado oils and tallow and those kinds of things for healthy oils. And people always say, oh, there's nothing wrong with seed oils. And we agree, there's nothing wrong with the seed oil. It's what happens to seed oil when you cook it at high temperatures, especially in a commercial kitchen over and over again. It's not a good chemical process, and it's not good for us. A lot of inflammation has led to it. But anyway, Finial, date night restaurant for me and my wife we love 1618. I think they do as good a job as anybody here in Greensboro. And then our casual date night is Fishbones over on Walker. I could eat there every single night.
Yeah, Fishbones for the first time today.
I could eat there. It's Cheers. Everybody knows your name. It's a local crowd. I just love that place. It's just such a good feeling. I may go there tonight.
You met in 1618. Do you know Mark?
Oh yeah,
He was our last guest.
Oh no kidding.
Yeah, so you're
fantastic. No,
you got big shoes to fill, man.
Yeah, no, they do it right. I mean, they consistently do it right. Just well done.
Do you go to the West or Midtown?
Both. Yeah. Yep. I like West. I just for a full meal, but Midtown is great. Unbelievable. Cocktails are
I
incredible.
love the vibe it's at Midtown.
Yeah.
It's dark, but it's still, anyway.
Yeah, it's so good.
We ate at 1618 after we did the podcast because we were talking about sea bass, and I was like, I gotta get
Yeah.
my wife worked at Fishbones.
Oh no kidding.
6 years. Yeah.
Really?
Amy was her name. She worked. It was her and Brooke and Becca worked a lot, and Chris was in the kitchen. But Neil and my dad go way back.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when Amy was like, I'm dating Andrew, Neil was like, oh, is that Pimp's son? I guess I've heard my dad call a lot of things, but I never knew that was his nickname. And I found that out when Amy told Neil, and he was like, oh, that's Pimper's son.
Right.
I was like, I asked my mom, she was like, oh, I was calling him back in the day.
Anyway, I love that whole corner. I mean, it's great. It's great. You can go over to Wahoo's and have a drink there and see Will, and or go over to Lindley Park and and eat there. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One of my good buddies' friends, they went to Emory down in Atlanta together.
Yeah.
He's from up north, and he came down from Connecticut, New York, somewhere. And still to this day, his favorite place is Suts and Nuts. I just love Suts and Nuts. So he's got like the hoodie he wears around.
That's hilarious.
40-year-old. I think he's a professor at Columbia.
Okay.
It's like Suts and Nuts is his favorite thing.
Yeah.
Any other restaurants that come to mind? All great places.
Yeah. I mean, we've just got some great places in town. I mean, little places, and I loved Cal. I love what they've done now with Cal. I love that whole concept. Over there in Revolution. I love the Undercurrent. I think they do a great job. Our friends at, the old school Cafe Pasta and his sister Cindy at Possibilities. I mean, those are Greensboro anchors that are just, it's not high-end food, but boy, it's consistent and you know what you're going to get, and it's good. I'm a big barbecue guy, and I won't go there because I won't offend anybody, who's my favorite barbecue is. Because they're all my friends.
He does have the best barbecue around here, though.
Yeah, I cannot say. I'd lose friends if I said.
All right.
Stamey's is good.
Unbelievable. Eating there my whole life. Yeah.
I was in Smithfield the other day. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Hidden gems.
Hidden Gem is Fishbones too. I mean, I love that place. Right. All the little cafes downtown. There's that French bakery right there across from the Pearl now. Why is the name escaping me?
Shay?
That too. Yeah.
So there's another French?
There is. It's a little French bakery right there, right across from the Pearl. God, why is it? It's anyway. Great little spot down that little alleyway. Love those little places. The new Rhino, I think, is great. That's a fun, brand new spot. Love that. I love that they kind of recreated it from what it used to be years ago. Put the fans back in. That's such a great spot. Yeah, right.
So funny story. I don't know if, and maybe you knew him. It's Dennis Setterfield.
was who redid the Rhino Club
Yeah.
last time.
Yeah.
So that was my uncle.
No, okay, right. I know that name.
He was married to Sharon, my dad's sister.
Okay.
But he has built bars all around. Hospitality guy.
Yeah.
Country club down in Florida.
Yeah.
Excuse me. He was working for a guy that owned a country club down there, cleaning boats.
Okay.
It's crazy. And then he moved him up north to a country club. He was running the country club for him.
Okay.
But while he was selling yachts, he didn't sell one. And a very wealthy Swedish family, this is a long time ago,
Okay.
came back and was like, yeah, we're ready to buy this $10 million yacht. And we're talking, again, this is a long time ago.
Yeah. A lot
And they were like, we will not buy it from anybody but Dennis. So the guy called him. He's like, I can't afford to get back down there. So he flew him down to sell the boat. He went from not being able to afford his plane ticket to a millionaire in a day. His commission was 10%.
Wow. Unreal.
And just money and just also awesome dude. Grew up with Burt Reynolds. Crazy, crazy, crazy stories.
Wow.
He lost it all in a divorce. And he kind of recreated himself by... He was the Gary Vee before Gary Vee was Gary Vee. He would go to yard sales and get like vintage sports goods, and he would take wood and antique it and make these signs. You saw him in a lot of hymns.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that got him into the bar restaurant industry. He's done work with Pusser's Rum, Polo. He redid the Rhino here when it was done.
Oh, wow.
He's down in Wilmington.
Amazing. Did not know that.
Port City Cava. All that. It's just crazy. His story.
Yeah, I don't know how I know the name. Maybe I just heard it.
Set work in downtown Wilmington.
Okay.
It's just... He was the world's most interesting man commercials was
Is it him?
and I was just lucky enough to have him.
Yeah.
But it was cool when I heard the Rhino kind of went back to what it was before.
It did.
He was the one.
They've just done a great job recreating it. Yeah, very, very nostalgic. You know, I remember it from before it shut down years ago. I mean, just incredible. And then if you've never been up to Hillbilly Hideaway up in in Blues Creek, it's one of our hidden gems in the area. I mean, if you've never been to Hillbilly Hideaway, have to go. It's family style. You don't get a lot of choices. It's either sweet or unsweet tea, sir, ma'am. That's your only choice. They bring you the food.
I haven't been there since a long time.
It's awesome.
Yeah, she's incredible. She's incredible.
Yeah, but we love that place.
I go there every fall, just because it's too heavy for summer. It's got to be a wintertime thing.
Catfish,
God,
ham,
hoe cake. Oh God, you'll walk out of there and you'll fall asleep driving back into Greensboro.
I haven't been there, and so I got to go back there.
Yeah,
I'm trying to lose weight right now.
Yeah, that's not a good place to go.
No. Excuse me, do y'all have a salad? No, sir.
We have turnip greens.
You mentioned live music. There's a new venue downtown.
Yes.
I haven't been able to be there yet.
Yeah. The Pearl.
Other places outside of the Pearl.
The Flatiron. Support the Flatiron. It is a gem of a place. It only holds 100 people. Talk about emerging artists. I mean, they've done a great job attracting folks coming through there that come and play. And the neat thing about the Flatiron is they have an agreement with the bands is that right next door to it that you don't see is a recording studio. So the bands come in. Part of the deal is they get a really high definition recording that they can leave with. So they're incentivized to come and play there for that reason, because can't make a lot of money playing at a place that holds 100 people. But they get this recording, and then they're going to play their best because they're recording it. So the customer gets to hear, a band at their best. And they've had so many great names. And Josh King and his wife Abby have done an amazing job running that place. And I hope Greensboro continues to support it and go to as many shows as they can there. Yeah. And the Pearl as well. The investment that those guys and ladies made in the Pearl, it is world-class music venue. I mean, it's as good as they come. I go to shows all over, and I'd put it up against anything in Raleigh or Charlotte just as a place to see a band for 800, 1,000 people. Yeah,
I gotta go check it out.
The sound system in it will blow you away. It's so good everywhere you go. It's just great.
Just all the way around?
All the way around. They put an enormous amount of money into making sure it sounded good. And it's so easy to go to the bathrooms are huge and easy, and the bars are huge and easy, and you just flow. And even if you're at the front and you want to step out and go to the bathroom and get back, it's just easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's one thing at this point in my life. If I go to a concert, like, I've been in the pits, but I don't want to do this anymore.
No.
I want to be able to go. And,
Right.
Josh, man, that was incredible when they were struggling a few months ago.
Yeah.
Community outreach for Flatiron.
It was.
Todd's a good buddy of mine that's really good friends with Josh.
Yep.
And so I've gotten to know Josh a little bit through him.
Right.
And our real estate firm grew very rapidly at one point, and we went from planning a 15-person interview party to like a 50-person in a week time period. And Todd was like, well, let me talk to Josh. And he opened his doors for our awards banquet. The Finns played for us.
No kidding.
He gave us a discounted rate on the Finns and with the venue.
Yeah.
And for just the whole thing, they were very accommodating.
That's great.
What do you guys need? And then,
That's
of course,
great.
they tore it down. I mean, they're so good.
They're so good.
So talented. The way they harmonize, and it's just incredible.
If the Finn is playing and don't have something committed to it, I'm going.
Yeah.
Every time. They're that much fun.
The House of Fools great. Was
Right.
They were I know. And then Todd, they've got some music going right now
They did.
that Todd shared with me, and it's very good. It's one of Todd's old bands.
Yeah.
Far Less,
Yeah.
which is a local band.
Yeah, I didn't know them.
Pop punk emo scene.
Okay.
Tour with Warped Tour.
Oh, yeah.
Big bands in that scene. But Josh is doing the vocals.
Right.
So they're like, and then I guess the other band's still doing something too, and the lead singer over there's, what do you do, Josh? But it's two different things. So it's like Josh's incredible voice and harmonization with like a pop punk sound, but it's a little bit darker.
Oh, I love that.
And so you kind of get this like cool folky feel.
Yeah.
To different. Anyway, I'm excited. I think they're going to studio in August, maybe.
No kidding.
So excited to see
Fantastic.
what happens there. But yeah, Flatiron, what a great place.
I just love that place.
Yeah.
I just love everything about it. I just love Josh and Abby, and I think they put their neck out there to get it going, and I just hope we continue to support them. And that fundraiser was fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They deserved it.
They deserve it as much as anybody.
Life's hard right now.
It is hard. It's hard to right. And that's a shoestring on there. You can't. If it was 200 people, it'd probably be a big difference. But when you only can charge for 100 people, and alcohol sales don't cover you.
No.
So
No. All right. Well, let's see what else we got here. We'll wrap here pretty quick. So, first time visiting Greensboro. I'm from out of state, out of the area. What should I do? How am I going to create the best memory I can?
gosh, stay at Grandover Resort.
So first you book a room here and play golf.
Get a spa appointment. Play golf. You know, I love our park system. I think I would take people out and show them some of the green spaces. You know, I just love the outdoors. I love our lakes. Our mountain biking trails are just incredible. I've just had a group of 16 people come from Colorado that are friends of mine to come play golf, and they did some of those kinds of things. But, you know, I would take them downtown. I think as much as I think we've got areas to improve on, I think there's a lot of cultural experience there from kind of an old Middletown feel that they would really enjoy. You know, going in some of our bars and restaurants down there, I think they'd love. If you could get to a Tanger Center show, I think that would be fantastic. There's, take them to a show at the Pearl or, our Science Center. Glendover goes and what he's doing out there and with this new biosphere, when that opens up, it's going to be a game changer. I mean, it already is just a world-class facility. They've won every award and you can imagine out there. But when that biosphere opens, it's going to be, people are going to come from all over to see that. So I think I would, that, and then I'd get outside of town too. I mean, we're so lucky to have the mountains so close and the coast so close. I mean, you really could do a long weekend here and see a whole lot. I mean, who doesn't want to go up and have a bologna sandwich at Snappy Lunch, right?
Well, I mean, to your point, I mean, we're 2.5 hours to Asheville, hour 45. Well, maybe it's a little. The way I drive, 2.5 hours to Asheville.
Yeah.
Hour 45 to Boone. You're 3 hours to Wilmington.
Yeah.
Kitty Hawk to Outer Banks is another 4 hours.
I think that's what people love about our area. Yeah. You're here and it's so easy just to get away, even if it's just for a quick weekend or a day trip even. I think that's there. We have so many hidden jewels here in town and close by. I mean, I'll tout our city next door, Winston-Salem and High Point. I mean, being able to see the furniture market would be cool. Take them to Furniture Land South. That blows people's minds. People come from all
store, right?
Yeah, in the world. I mean, to see that is incredible. Old Salem, that's just nothing like that. So really good stuff there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll end with this question. Kelly, I want to thank you so much.
Andrew, thank
For
you.
your time. This has been awesome.
Thank you.
I've learned some cool things. I've been making notes. I can't wait to go look at the A-frame houses. And then I think my favorite thing is we were almost Busch Gardens.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, really cool.
If you could sum up what it's meant to you to grow up in Greensboro as a community and what you would want the outside world to hear, I don't want to limit it to one word, but just the easiest phrase you could say and how much it's meant to you to be here.
We're a people place. We're a hometown. And that's what I love. You still go to the grocery store and see people and shake hands and know who their kids are. And those are the things I think that are most meaningful to me. Having grown up here, and you too, you get those experiences. But even if you're not from here and you move here, you still get that same experience in the grocery store. People still say hello. They'll talk to you. That's what I love. We're still a town.
My wife won't go to Harris Teeter with me.
Because you're just going to talk to everybody,
I
right?
grew up there, and it's like right around the corner. I remember when it was built, Tosh Teeter and the Grand. That used to be Burlington Industries. Back in the day, we'd ride our bikes there.
Yeah.
At Ball Garden, all that stuff. And that said, I live in Sunset Hills, so I'm going to go to Friendly Center to go to the grocery store.
Right.
And it's not that she's not a people person, but when she's in the grocery store, she likes to stay early and shop and
Get it done and get out.
Miranda around.
And you're gonna run into 12 people,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it turns into a 10-minute, turns into 15-minute, and you're catching up. It's kind of like a little party every time I go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
But that is Greensboro.
That is Greensboro, and that's what I love about it. I mentioned, again, it's the third time I mentioned his name, Tony Cordo, who's our new president. But when he came here and we hired him, he was leaving Fort Lauderdale, and I had to coach him through what it's going to be like coming to Greensboro. I said, you're going to have a whole lot of people slap you on the back and say, how are you doing? You get used to that because that's just who we are. I think we're really genuine here, and I love that, and I hope we don't lose that. I hope we can hold on to that feeling because it's unique in our culture and in our society that people genuinely know who each other are and care about each other.
Love that. Well, Kelly, thanks again. This has been so fun.
Thank you, Andrew, very much. I really enjoyed it. Great conversation. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your interest.
If you've made it this far, I will say something that he didn't kind of mention. One of the things that my wife and I did early on in our marriage was a staycation. And she's not a golfer, but I planned a spa day, but the spa, something went on. I think it was my fault now. I ordered it and they were nice. But anyway, they said it was their problem. I think it was my problem. But we got on the golf course to get a discounted rate because of it and stayed the night, ate food. The restaurant was fantastic. And it's 15 minutes from my house. And it was just really cool. And everything you said was how it was run. You guys housed our third episode when Crossroads came through here. It was an incredible experience to see the whole place. So just thank you for opening up your doors. It really is a cool spot to have.
Thank you.
And a lot of history here.
Thank you.
Hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Honored to be a part.
Appreciate it.